Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode 139. It is June 24th. It is Friday. Welcome to Simply Cyber's daily cyber threat briefing. I'm your host, Dr. Gerald Auger. And over the next 30 minutes, I'll be delivering the top cybersecurity news stories of the day to you, providing expert analysis on each of those stories, what it means to you as a practitioner, so you know how to apply it at work today, or if you're looking to break in the industry, or you're just cyber curious, we got you covered here. Shout out and thanks to this stream sponsor, Barricade Cyber Solutions. Cyber criminals have stolen your company's data and derailed your business operations. Barricade Cyber Solutions will help you resolve this ransomware attack and, more importantly, get your business back on track. Eric Taylor and the group over at Barricade Cyber are very seasoned ransomware threat actors. Maybe give them a call before you actually have ransomware, so you have kind of everything laid out in front of you. So when the time comes, you're not running around like your hair is on fire. I want to remind you, if you hold professional certifications like CISP, CISA, CISM, all of those great certs, each episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Briefing is worth half a CPE. So it stacks 2.5 a week, 10 a month, etc. I would argue it would probably be in your best interest to record it monthly. If you are a regular attendee of the Daily Cyber Threat Briefing, monthly is nice and easy. You can do 10, 10, 10. So be sure to just say what's up in chat the way that like Jim Lund just said good morning, the way Carrie Chasen said good morning. Christian Falzone says good morning. If an auditor ever calls you on your CPEs, you can just point to the chat logs of all the first things first and say, hey, auditor, they're all there. Get back to me if you don't find one. Cheers. So say what's up and document literally the easiest way to capture CPEs that you can. If you're live with us, I love it. I see 60 of us already in here. Great for a Friday morning. Super pumped. If you're watching on replay, hashtag team replay in comments. That has really taken off. As I mentioned before, I want to get a t-shirt that says hashtag team replay. I understand not everybody can be here live with us, but just know the folks that are watching on replay are forming their own faction. And I'm grateful that it persists in a recorded fashion and that everybody's able to take advantage and get value from it. Now, normally I have a little ticker counting down, but because I'm in the off-site studio, I don't have that. So if you want to jump right to where the news starts, when this promo card changes to news, that's when it started. For the next couple minutes, especially on a Friday, I want to say good morning to everybody, congratulate them on another great week, and have some coffee, because that's my jam. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Navina, good to see you. Luke Canfield, nice. Wilson, good to see you. Hey, Benny. If you are watching on LinkedIn, that's absolutely cool, or any of the affiliate stations that I push to, very much can consume this just all you want. I do want to point out, though, you do get a richer, more fuller experience if you go to the Simply Cyber YouTube channel. So if you just go to YouTube and type in either my name, Gerald Auger, which you can see right there, or you put in Simply Cyber, it'll come to this feed live on YouTube, and you just get access to more chat, more emotes, more just when I do polls and stuff like that. So just to make you aware, good morning, Lego Security. Hey, Gary, Mahadev Appa, Jane, good to see you. Snehal, Eric Taylor from Barricade Cyber Solutions in the house. Guys, it is Friday, so I want to remind you that Grayson's joke of the day will be coming. We're also going to be continuing to raffle off 4 vouchers to the GRC Analyst Master Class. I've got big news about next week's Daily Cyber Threat Briefing. There's going to be a change in production. Make everybody aware of that. And also, I've secured another sponsor for raffles for the week after that I'll share with you. I do want to say good morning to my good friend Brent Gurry and his daughter Emerson, who watch on Fridays. Great to have you there. Maybe if Matt Mears is in chat, it's good to see you too. Hey, Kimberly in Miami. Alexis, all day long, Alexis, until I get back to the low country. We'll be calling you Alexis. Yeah, it's some interesting stories. Oh, and final thing before we get into the stories. Yeah, the puppies, the official mascots, thing 1 and thing 2 here. Before we get into the stories, I do want to let everybody know I spent a few minutes yesterday. I do have a international law enforcement sound effect. It doesn't look like there's any stories today, based on the cursory look I did, but just know I've got a law enforcement sound effect that I am super pumped about when the time comes. All right, so let me take one more good slug of coffee, and then we'll dig right in. Good to see you, Kayla. Good to see you, Joel. Hey, Roy Keck. Always nice. Hmm. Let me just top it off, and then we'll get in. All right, say goodbye to the music. Raffling jobs off. That'd be cool. All right, let me kill the music. Say goodbye to that, everybody, because I won't be playing it again the way my audio always screws up. All right, guys, let's get into the news.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
It's Friday, June 24th, 2022. Cloud email threats soar 101% in a year. Trend Micro announced this number as their observation of growth in email borne cyber threats that they blocked last year. They also noted a 138% year on year increase in phishing emails, of which almost half were credential phishing attempts. They also blocked 3.3 million malicious files in cloud-based emails, including a 134% increase in known threats and a 221% increase in unknown malware. Another security company, Proofpoint, warned in a new report of the continued dangers posed by social engineering, highlighting how many users don't realize that threat actors may spend considerable time and effort building rapport over email with their victims, especially if they're trying to conduct a business email compromise attack.
All right, so this is a good story. You know how I normally poo poo on vendor sponsored reports, but guys, I will tell you from living in the trenches, um, email is definitely like the like the a huge attack vector, if not the majority being greater than 51%. I would suspect that like 80% of attacks begin with some type of email. Now it says cloud email threats soar. I mean, whatever. It's email is email, right? Most people are moving their email up into the cloud. So if you want to qualify it that way, but at the end of the day, email is an attack vector. Now, a couple interesting things to point out. A lot of you may be thinking, oh, I just need to educate my end users to look for like weird URLs and grammatical errors, and I'm good to go. And that used to be enough. That used to be enough. It's not enough anymore. And this article actually goes into a little bit of detail. I skimmed it while we were talking, but a couple things here. One, I do appreciate that Proofpoint, at Exchange Online Protection. A lot of these major enterprise grade email security systems are introducing pretty good filtering, but some do get through. Now, here's what I want to tell you as far as like 2022 type attacks. One, threat actors are leveraging like OneDrive, Dropbox, Box.com, Google Drive, right? Because those URLs are going to are going to trick end users because end users are like, oh, it says Google Drive. I use Google Drive. Oh, it says OneDrive. We use OneDrive here at the company. It must be fine. The problem is, obviously, right? Obviously, you can stick malicious malware up there and have someone pull it down from OneDrive, right? So that does not mean anything. Okay, so that's the first thing to educate, and then the second thing that they talk about in this article is a increase in telephone based initial attack. They had some acronym TOAD, but whatever it is, you see this all the time with business email compromise and scumbag scammers who do the call center stuff. It's really popular on YouTube, the scam baiter people. But anyways, the idea is that you get an email and there's no links, there's nothing malicious, there's no sense of urgency, but it does say, give us a call. And typically it'll be some like invoice or something that you didn't pay for. And good people will call to dispute the charge and say, hey, it wasn't me. I think you guys made a mistake. I'm being a good person. In reality, the scammer will be like, oh, okay, like let me refund you the money, and then that's when the scam begins. But they will also say, let me here install this software. It'll allow me to either push the access or help you do whatever. And it's not really malware; it's basically remote access software solution like LogMeIn or TeamViewer, but that's considered its application is malicious, so it's essentially like malware. So they talk about that too. Long story short, you need to educate your end users consistently and regularly on the fear, not fear, but the reality of phishing, and educate them to know what to look for. And I'll leave this as a fun fact from a security awareness perspective. If you get an actual fish in your environment, someone falls for it, whatever, after you're done cleaning up the mess, use it as an example to the rest of the enterprise. Don't call out that Carl's the one who fell for it, but do say, hey, someone in our organization fell for this. Like, this actually happened. When you make it real, when you make it personal, when you make it like local to you, it has a greater impact of resonating with the person consuming the knowledge, like your end user base. So definitely take advantage of that.
The NHS warns of scam COVID-19 text messages still. The UK's National Health Service is warning the public about a spate of fake messages sent out as SMS text messages, fraudulently telling recipients of their exposure to the Omicron variant of COVID-19. The link leads to a lookalike website that pretends to belong to the NHS. This bogus website confirms that the test is free but asks for 99 pence to cover postage. Its true mission, however, is to collect personal information, including names and addresses. The fact that this is being reported in mid-June 2022 shows that COVID-related scams are still successful. Fancy
Well, and why wouldn't they be? We're being hammered over the head by our officials and leaders to take take COVID seriously, and get tested. And I know the impacts of COVID seem to be diminished, so you can still get it, but it's not as life threatening or terrible. It would appear, from my perspective, over here in the United States. But, people are still supposed to be doing what they're doing, and when you're told that the NHS is like the official authority for the UK on getting information, why wouldn't you? Now, they said in the article that it's for PII harvesting, or personal information harvesting, but they're also said something about a 99 cent or 99 pence, which I guess that means a change. If anyone in here is in the UK or London or whatever, wherever they use pence, what's 99 pence? Is that like a buck? What, like, let me know. But basically, if they're doing this, it's almost funny. Like, I hate to be such a D about it, but it's almost funny because you've got ransomware threat actors asking for $10 million, asking for $15 million, whatever. And then these guys are like harvesting a buck a hit. Like, it probably costs more to send the text message, honestly, with data rates. So whatever. Okay, so pence equals cents. Yeah, so I guess, I mean, if they're harvesting that $1, good on you, I guess. But I don't know. I just don't see the value. Like, you can get, with all due respect, you can get PII like on the dark web, like, pretty cheap. So, whatever. I don't know who's behind this attack, but it seems kind of like the return on your investment seems kind of foolish. I hate to say that, because it is criminal. It is wrong. They shouldn't be doing it at all. But, like, just in the pantheon of threat actors, like, I don't know what this one's doing. What's the goal here, buddy?
Bear uses nuke threat to exploit one-click bug. APT group Fancy Bear is behind a phishing campaign that uses the specter of nuclear war to exploit a known one-click Microsoft flaw. The goal is to deliver malware that can steal credentials from the Chrome, Firefox, and Edge browsers. Researchers at Malwarebytes state that the group is pushing malicious documents weaponized with the exploit for Falina. Their campaign targets users with emails carrying a malicious RTF file called nuclear terrorism, a very real threat, in an attempt to prey on victims' fears that the invasion of Ukraine will escalate into a nuclear conflict. Chinese hack.
All right, so not a surprise. The malicious file uses a remote template embedded in the document.xml.rels file to retrieve a remote File and JavaScript window location. Okay, so here's the deal. A couple things here. This is a phishing attack, as we just mentioned earlier, that phishing is kind of the initial attack vector. Um, this is Russian APT. They didn't say which one, but oh, they said Fancy Bear, so I think that's 28. Um, okay, couple things here. One, with fishes, and I've said this on the channel before, with fishes, um, threat actors will typically choose something that is very germane to current society, right? So like World Cup's coming, World Cup emails. We just saw COVID text messages, right? There was also COVID phishing. This one right here, no surprise, right? The threat of nuclear war, that's very serious. People are going to be fearful and more likely to want to see what this is about and see if there's anything that they need to know. So clever piece of bait, if you will, on the phishing hook. It does leverage a Microsoft vulnerability, the Felina bug, which still to this day does not have a vulnerability logo. I don't care, honestly, really. It's just something noteworthy. But the Felina bug, which is essentially like enabling macros, except you don't use macros, you use the Microsoft debugger protocol thing inside of the Office application. So it's pretty straightforward. I don't understand. Like basically, if they send the email, they trick you into opening the thing, which sounds pretty successful, and you get exploited. Then they can run code on your box, which would I assume that they would run PowerShell to pull down a second stage payload. It didn't make sense to me, or it didn't really go in here and explain exactly what the end goal was. So like who are they targeting with these emails? What when they are compromising them, what are they getting? It says that they're okay, they're stealing. The main purpose is to steal data from web browsers. Okay, so that is pretty valuable as everybody begins to use more and more cloud-based systems. Credentials are important, but you got to remember, guys, multi-factor authentication. It's not a silver bullet, but if your credentials get compromised, multi-factor will at least slow the threat actor down, if not stop them, if they're not, super sophisticated. And by the way, it'll also give you a heads up because you guys must have received these emails where like you log into something and you get an email. It's like, hey, someone's trying to log into your thing, and most of the times you're like, yeah, it's me. Like this is fine, but you still get the email. So if you receive that email and you're not expecting it, obviously maybe something like this happened and you got um, compromised. So
Here's distributing SMS bomber tool with malware hidden inside. Israeli cybersecurity company Checkpoint said in a report that they had found a threat cluster tied to the hacking group Tropic Trooper using a previously undocumented malware coded in the NIM language. The novel malware, dubbed NIMDA, is bundled with a Chinese language greyware SMS bomber tool that's most likely illegally distributed in the Chinese speaking web. This is being used to strike targets as part of a newly discovered campaign. An SMS bomber is a technique which, as the name mentions, renders a phone number unusable via a barrage of DDoS requests.
okay, hold on one second. I don't understand. I mean, I understand what this is. A couple things about this. One, like shout out to a new threat actor group named Tropic Trooper. I don't know if Checkpoint, a lot of these like there's no standard for naming these threat actors. So different kind of cybersecurity vendors come up with their own. FireEye is kind of the most notable with like Fancy Bear that we just heard about. They coined Fancy Bear and Poison Panda and stuff like this. So Tropic Trooper is distributing SMS bomber tools, which essentially basically just peppers a phone number with SMS text messages, doing a denial of service attack. I don't. I guess I'm confused why. Like I'll look at chat afterwards, but what's the value here? Like it's annoying, right? So I have a cell phone, right? It would be annoying if my phone just got basically denial of service because I was getting incessant text messages, but I would just go down to AT&T and get a new phone number, right? I mean, it's inconvenient, but it's not catastrophic. I mean, maybe if it was like a work number that was published on a website, so now there's a little bit more impact um, of having to clean it up and make the changes. So there's that, but Plus, the weird thing is it's malware that's getting sent to someone else. So now I guess they're kind of like having a botnet army send text messages. I don't know. The one thing that was interesting to me is it was coded in NIM language. I've never heard of NIM. I mean, I've been around a minute. I've never heard of NIM. I don't know if anyone in chat has heard of NIM or if it's like a new language, but I like, Eric Taylor, if you're out there, like I've heard, the new ones are like Rust and Go, especially Go. Threat actors are really loving themselves some Go programming language for malware. I've never heard of NIM. So, I guess check your mileage because it can vary. Um, but they are attacking Chinese speakers. So be mindful of that if you are providing information security services to a group in China or the Philippines. It looks like Taiwan, Hong Kong, Philippines. All right, so not a major story. I guess it's just interesting the NIM language for me.
And now,
Okay, so now let's do our promotion piece of everything. Thank you, Ciso Series, for allowing us to listen to the
thanks to
podcast.
today's episode sponsor, Optiv. Modernizing your identity control plane from AD to the cloud is complex. Ralph Martino, who is leading the Identity and Access Management IAM group for Optiv, discusses what challenges CISOs are facing in today's ever changing climate. These include increasing security, decreasing risk, and lowering cost. You can learn more at optiv.com/IAM-Microsoft. That is optiv.com/IAM-Microsoft.
Okay, so thanks, Ciso Series, for allowing us to listen to your podcast. Now let's do some notes from Simply Cyber's perspective. Okay, guys, we are going to be raffling off the GRC vouchers, compliments of Barricade Cyber Solutions. So let us actually, before I do that, because I want to share a link with you guys and I don't want it to get lost in the stream of people submitting. Yesterday afternoon, Dr. Chase Cunningham was on our podcast or on Simply Cyber Live. If you were able to attend, it was awesome. He was calling in from a hotel in Denver. What a really cool guy, like real cool guy. Talk zero trust, what it really is, what it really isn't. He also said, and I want to make this abundantly clear to everybody, he said he honestly believes that in the next 3 months, you're going to start seeing job recs having line items mentioning zero trust specifically, right? Like experience with zero trust or knowledge of zero trust or zero trust best practices. And for those in the chat too, I asked him straight up, I said, how is zero trust different than a repackaging of best practices that we've known for 20 years? And he answered that question. And it was an interesting response. So if you're interested, go back to Simply Cyber, look at last night's feed with him. But he did give a couple key takeaways on how you can get zero trust related skills between now and 90 days from now, which will have huge market value if you're looking to get a new job in cybersecurity, whether it's your first job or it's your 50th job in cybersecurity. Zero trust is coming. But Dr. Chase has this podcast that he runs. It's all about zero trust. I wanted to provide it to you guys. If you're a podcast listener, if you have a drive or whatever, I'm going to drop the link here in chat. Zero Trust Podcast. Okay, there you go, guys. There's the link to the Zero Trust Podcast. If you want, give it a listen. It's on Spotify. I don't think it costs anything. This dude is wicked smart. Okay, and he's a retired Navy guy, 20 plus years. He's no bull crap. Like that's another thing that I liked about him. He didn't beat around any bushes. He was like straight to the point. It was cool. Okay, so now let's talk about the GRC Masterclass raffle. Okay, guys, it is Friday, so I want to say thanks to Barricade. If you want to enter to win one of the GRC Analyst Masterclass vouchers, so it's a course that I made. It's gotten a lot of really positive response from the community, so thank you very much. I'm really happy that you guys found value in it. If you want to take this class and you want to win a ticket to take it, enter the contest now. The contest keyword that you need to drop in chat is TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, just the acronym TGIF. TGIF. Let us know that you are pumped that it is Friday and we are going into a weekend. TGIF. Switch to the purple. Hey, Michelle Dane. I don't know if it's available on iTunes. I did not see that. It looks like it was just on Spotify, but a fairly easy search could do that for you. While you guys are queuing up, I'm going to pour some coffee. Also, because it's Friday, we have the Grayson joke of the week. I will drop that right now while people are entering. Grayson asks, why? Oh wait, no. I'll save the joke to the end. Okay, I'll save the joke to the end. He was pretty pumped. We went through a couple different jokes last night. He was kind of on the fence. All right, guys. All the best to everybody who entered. We'll draw the winner in a few minutes. Let's continue.
New Metamask phishing campaign uses KYC lures to steal passphrases. A new phishing campaign targets users on Microsoft 365 by spoofing the popular Metamask cryptocurrency wallet provider and attempting to steal recovery phrases. According to email security firm ArmorBlocks, the new campaign distributes messages that resemble legitimate identity verification requests. They appear to be sent from Metamask support and are spoofs of Know Your Customer KYC verification request and features convincing branding and no typos or other obvious scam giveaways. KYC requests are part of standard anti-money laundering legal obligations that financial companies must abide by, so receiving one would not necessarily be unusual.
All right, a couple things here. One, first and foremost, here is another attack that starts with a fish. So if you thought I was just blowing smoke up your butt, that phishing is like the number one attack vector, this is yet another story around that, man. I'm telling you, phishing is so popular because it gets right in front of the victim. You can and like we want email to get to people, so there is an opportunity there. Now, here is the thing about this MetaMask. If you use crypto, you may be familiar with MetaMask. It's a popular wallet. It has all sorts of like integrations. Looks like my fill light just went out. So now you've got a dark and mysterious Jerry for Friday morning. The MetaMask allows all these integrations. I'm telling you, like, I'm not begrudging anyone for doing crypto stuff, but I have a wallet and it's not MetaMask. And I've tried to do some things and I couldn't do it because I needed MetaMask. And I'm always very leery about like, oh, like bind your MetaMask wallet to us, right? Like it seems very sus. Um, so be mindful of what you're doing when it comes to your wallet. Like this is your money, right? So I feel like you should have a heightened alert. Um, but these MetaMask know your customer lures to steal passphrases. Essentially, when you configure your wallet, they give you the opportunity to have a essentially like a break glass in case of emergency uh, code words, very much like Winter Soldier in the first Captain America. It's just like 12 random words like eggplant, book, fire department, cheese grater. Like it's just random words, but instead of like a big long ridiculous 75 character nonsense, it's just a bunch of words. And that's what they're trying to steal there because if they get that, they can unlock your wallet from the back end and steal all your money, right? Which is ultimately the goal, right? These guys are getting around the try to business email compromise and fake you. They're just straight stealing your money. Now, one thing I do want to tell you, and I got this from Darknet Diaries, recent episode, like maybe 2 weeks ago, about a guy who, it's the episode I talked about the other day. Like he was awesome at doing SMS SIM swapping on Verizon and some other things, but he talks about his days as like a criminal essentially. And Jack Resider asked me, he's like, so you break into someone's email because that's why they would do the SIM swapping so they could get the second factor text message and log into your email. He said, you log into someone's email. What's the first thing you're looking for? Right now, I want to pose this to chat really quickly. You're a bad guy, right? You get into someone's email. What is the first thing you're looking for? Right? What's the first thing you're looking for? And you're financially motivated, you're criminally motivated, so you're trying to steal cryptocurrency. That's your goal, right? That's your goal. Let me take a sip really quick while you guys digest that. Mm. Okay. Here's the thing. For me, when I heard it, I was like, oh, I'm going to search for keywords. Yeah, passwords. I'm going to type in Coinbase. I'm going to type in Robinhood. I'm going to type in blockchain, Bitcoin, Ethereum. I'm looking for these keywords in the email. This dude, this threat actor, he's like, oh, the very first thing I do, I go to Google. Like, if it's Google, he's like, I go right to the photos. I go right to the photos because he said most people will take a picture with their phone of those 12 key phrases because it's a pain in the butt to write it down, and it's a pop-up on the screen. So they'll take a picture with it, and a lot of people, Apple Photos, Apple iCloud, Google Photos, Android devices, it's automatically configured to push your photos up to some cloud service, and you may not even note it, right? So he's like, dude, first thing I do is go right to the photos, and he's like, I almost always find a picture of someone's backdoor password key phrase all the time. And I was like so brilliant, right? It's these are like it's like so obvious when you say it, but like, and I think I have my Bitcoin wallet or crypto wallet. I think I have a photo of my things, right? Like it's such a human nature thing to do. So I thought that that was clever. So be mindful of if you're doing that. It's another opportunity to educate your end users if you're working in fintech or something like that. Some people don't even know that their photos are being relayed up there. Some people know it, but they don't think that that's a threat. That their photos are something of interest to a bad guy. So just be mindful of that. Yeah, Cyber Elon, Chinadu knows what's up.
Critical PHP vulnerability exposes QNAP NAS devices to more remote attacks.
Oh, QNAP. Oh gosh, I definitely need a sounder for QNAP. Wah wah wah.
QNAP, the Taiwanese maker of network attached storage devices, said on Wednesday it is in the process of fixing a critical 3-year-old PHP vulnerability that could be abused to achieve remote code execution. A vulnerability affects PHP versions in the 7.1 and 7.2 range, and it is tracked as CVE 2019-11043, rated 9.8 out of 10 on the CVSS scale. This alert comes a week after QNAP revealed that it is thoroughly investigating yet another wave of deadbolt ransomware attacks targeting QNAP NAS devices running outdated versions of QTS 4.x.
Okay, so I mean, I don't even know what to say at this point. All right, like I don't know if you guys remember. Like I'm a little bit older, and this is definitely not for a younger generation. But there was a show. It was out of the UK, but it was rebroadcast in the United States, like in the '80s, called Benny Hill, the Benny Hill Show, and he was basically just like a almost like a vaudeville type comedian. But they had this like section where it would just be like people bumping into each other, and it would be like and it was just like it was almost like clowns getting out of a car. That's what I think of in my mind when I hear another QNAP story. Like the CEO of QNAP must be like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Like it's one thing to ship on Monday and patch on Wednesday, like Microsoft used to do all the time as their business model. It's another one when like you're literally every week in the news for some type of ridiculous vulnerability. So I almost need to like record this and just play it so I can sit back and have coffee. Patch your patch your QNAP NAS devices. Make sure that you have it for lease use. So whatever services don't need to be running, have them disabled. If it needs to be not, if it doesn't need to be internet facing, there you go. Take that off the internet. Like oh my god. Like remote code execution is pretty much the worst. That means that basically a threat actor can do whatever they want on your machine. It's the worst, okay? So, honestly, I'll tell you, it says critical PHP vulnerability. So maybe it wasn't QNAP's problem because it was a PHP thing, but it makes me wonder if the versions of PHP they're running are older and they're not keeping up to date. Again, you got to remember, guys, like this company, QNAP, they're interested in making product and selling the product and making money. They're not interested, that this is a bit of a, 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 a a simplified statement, but they're not interested in like having the most secure NAS device ever, right? They're interested in functionality and getting it to market because you don't make money if it's not in the market. But this is ridiculous, dude. It's like every week there's a QNAP story. Like I might even do this if I have time today. Like put together a timeline of QNAP vulnerability stories and just look at it. I probably should do more with that than just look at it, but it's silly. It's silly.
Microsoft has AI that can spot ransomware attacks before they happen. Microsoft is focusing on disrupting the earliest stages of a ransomware attack with AI enhancements for Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. In what the company calls early incrimination, they are developing machine learning algorithms to determine malicious intent in files, processes, user accounts, and devices. Microsoft engineers have developed 3 sets of AI generated inputs that independently generate a risk score determining whether an entity is likely involved in an active ransomware attack. These are time based and statistical analysis of security alerts at the organizational level, graph based aggregation of suspicious events across devices, and device based monitoring to flag suspicious activities. By correlating these datasets, Defender can detect patterns and connections that might have been missed otherwise. If a high enough confidence level is reached, it automatically blocks the files and entities involved in the ransomware.
Okay, so check this out. Um, my first thoughts on this was like, okay, like, is this what we need? Is this basically a Minority Report, except instead of the precogs, it's AI floating in that milk pool, talking about like crime that's about to happen? But I am on board with this. Okay, guys. Here's the thing. Essentially, what I'm hearing here in this story is um basically like commercial grade detection engineering. Okay, let me put my blue on for my sock people. Guys, the activity of detection engineering is where you begin to put in, like, so when you buy a sim like Splunk or Graylog or something like that, or you deploy it, it comes with a bunch of like canned like alerts essentially, or things it keys on. All right, so like, hey, this is interesting, this is interesting, so you can be up and running even if you don't really know what you're doing. Okay, detection engineering is that next level of skill where you begin to put together certain things like, hey, if I see this event ID and this event ID and then this event ID in this order, then there's a high probability that we've just seen, privilege escalation, process hollowing, and then, like command.exe being called from inside the memory space of another program, right? Like these three things individually, like process hollowing should not happen anyways, but just bear with me here. These three things individually are not malicious, but when they're done together in this order, it is almost a certainty that it is malicious activity. That, and then you bundle it and you make it an alert. That is detection engineering, and it requires a deep level of experience and time in the saddle, frankly, of having seen these things over and over again to understand, because you don't want to make a false positive detection engineering rule, because that doesn't help anyone. This right here, to me, this is Microsoft taking AI to basically um, go ham on detection engineering. And this isn't going to take anyone's job at all. This is just going to help direct SOC analysts and direct incident responders directly to a potential problem. And I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft gets really good at it, actually putting in automation, right? Let's SOAR. The dream is realized. Okay. So Microsoft putting in SOAR type capabilities where they automatically disable an account or they quarantine an endpoint if you've got Defender on. Like if you go for the whole Microsoft ecosystem security solution. So I do like this. This is not precog Minority Report preventative compromise. This is like detection engineering on crack. That's what this is.
Amazon's Alexa could turn dead loved ones' voices into digital assistants. Claiming it will allow people to, quote, make the memories last, end quote, the company is developing technology that will allow its Alexa digital assistant to mimic the voice of anyone it hears from less than a minute of provided audio. This, according to Rohit Prasad, Senior Vice President and Head Scientist, speaking on Wednesday. He added that during the coronavirus pandemic, quote, so many of us have lost someone we love, end quote. They announced the existence of this technology from beyond the grave at the company's Re-Mars conference, focusing on its ambient computing achievements in the realms of machine learning, automation, robots, and space.
Okay. You may be surprised that I have a pretty strong opinion about this across multiple dimensions. All right. On the surface, this sounds like a really cute party trick. Okay. I think that this has massive ramifications. First of all, like I'm a cybersecurity professional. I'm not a medical, clinical, psychological anything, and you should definitely not take my thoughts as fact. But when I think of like the grieving process of dealing with death and stuff like that, acceptance is part of that process. If you're doing this with like somebody that you loved deeply, like it kind of persists onward, right? And now it's like this, I don't want to say unhealthy, but it's like you're continuing to like you're continuing the relationship in an artificial way, and I don't know if that's healthy. Second thing, right? What if what if I'm into I see Liam in New Zealand here, okay? So like I'm wicked into Liam and Liam's like got a restraining order on me. I could take a minute of Liam's voice and make my Echo device Liam's voice now. Again, super unhealthy and probably pushing me further along or pushing that person who has that unhealthy infatuation, pushing it further as a social norm. Third item that's concerning with this: what stops me from getting a minute of my CEO's voice from the most recent town hall meeting and making my Echo device sound like the CEO? Then I have my Echo device call the financial and accounting person at my business and tell them over the phone to wire Jerry money or give Jerry a raise or whatever. Do you understand what I'm saying? From a deep fakes perspective, we can already make the CEO on screen look like that, right? I could look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Tom Cruise or whatever. Now you can make my voice sound like it too. It's the complete solution as far as like um as far as like Mission Impossible faking the entire look and feel, right? So this is going to have ramifications. There are ethical boundaries here. Again, it sounds cool, right? The little story that they point out is that, hey, can grandma finish reading the story? Because like grandma died halfway through reading Wizard of Oz to the grandson. And you'll never get to figure out the wizard behind the curtain was actually just some dude who like stumbled into the Oz. Okay, so like that story, like no one's going to push back on that story, but there are grave weaponization, you know, uh thought exercises that need to be considered with something like this. But the fact that Amazon's going to put it into a commercial grade product means that this technology is fully out there and you can expect this to become more mainstream, right? That like the fact that it's at this point means that it's widely available in some capacity, right? I'm sure there isn't a module you just download, but yeah. Anyways, so that's a concern. Having said that, though, I do empathize with the emotional thing, right? So I've lost both my parents. I have a voicemail from my dad. It's the last voicemail he left me, and it's like whatever 10, 12 years old, and occasionally I listen to that voicemail. Um, so human nature, man, human nature.
Just a reminder, there will be no Super Cyber Friday next Friday because we're doing it on Tuesday instead.
All right, so that's going to do it for this week's episode. Now, that's just the news stories. We have a couple programming notes. We have joke of the week, and we have the raffle to do. So stick with us. But if you were here just for the stories, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great weekend. Now let's get into some programming notes. Next week is um, I will be out part of the week next week for um, a family excursion, which I'm super excited about. Get to spend some time with some loved ones and some family friends that we haven't seen in probably, I don't know, 5 6 years. We will continue to do the daily cyber threat briefing. I have guest hosts lined up for you. I'm very happy about that. So definitely come check out at 8 a.m. on Monday to find out who your guest hosts are going to be. But I will be back on Friday for the Friday episode of the daily cyber threat briefing. My goal is to make sure that the daily cyber threat briefing continues marching on every day, so you guys get what you need in order to be effective at your job, and for the community, and for so many reasons. Like to me, this thing doesn't start and stop with me. It's a community service, and it needs to continue even if I'm not here. Also, July 4th, just as a program note, in 2 weeks, July 4th is on a Monday. We will not be doing a show on that day just because of a national holiday and for so many reasons. So please enjoy your 3-day weekend and take advantage of that. Light off some fireworks, have some hot dogs or some um, fake meat dogs. If you're, I don't know if they make those, but like impossible burgers or whatever. I'm trying to be inclusive of vegetarians as well. So that'll be good. All right. So let's do the joke of the day or joke of the week, compliments of Grayson, and then we will do the raffle for the GRC voucher. So the joke of the day is, and Grayson's probably in chat right now and then going to tell me I said it wrong, but why do cookies Why do cookies not tell jokes? Why do cookies not tell jokes? Straight from the mouth of babes. Why do cookies not tell jokes? Cookies don't tell jokes because they're always crummy. They're always crummy. That is the joke of the week. Thank you. Yep. Pretty much. It's, you use the word crumb in your punchline and you pretty much nailed it. So thank you to Grayson for the joke of the week. He'll be coming at you every Friday, open mic, open mic night here at Simply Cyber. Okay, so now let's get into the giveaway. Hopefully you've done TGIF in chat, and we will go ahead and draw. Thank you again to Barricade Cyber Solutions for sponsoring the GRC Analyst Master Class vouchers all week this week. Guys, remember, go check out Barricade Cyber Solutions. If you work at a company that needs, that it doesn't have a plan for ransomware, it's a great opportunity. At minimum, you start the line of communication with Eric. He's a very approachable guy. It's not like one of these businesses where you like call and then all of a sudden you're getting hammered by a sales guy trying to like close the deal and stuff like that. All right, let's do the drawing. Here we go. TGIF. Our first winner on Friday, June 24th is Philip Martin. Philip Martin. Congratulations, Philip. Connect with me on Discord. Mods, can you do !Discord in chat, please? Connect with me in Discord, winners, and I will make sure you get what you need to claim your prize. Our next winner today is Cisco Romero. Hey, Cisco, congratulations on winning the GRC Analyst Master Class voucher. Let's move on to our next winner. Navina subscribed on May 18th. Navina, new member of the Simply Cyber community. Definitely appreciate having you here, and thanks for being part of the community. Connect with me on Discord for your prize. And our final winner, the one and only Joel Belton. Nice job, Joel. Longtime Simply Cyber community member. I'm almost positive he's a squad member. So thanks so much, Joel, and everybody on winning. Like I said, just connect with me on Discord, !Discord if you don't know how to get there, or hit me up on LinkedIn, whatever. Just connect with me. one way or the other, and I will get you what you need in order to claim your prize and be successful. All right, so I do want to play, guys. I do want to play the sound effect for what happens if there's a international law enforcement story. So Europol, Interpol, any of those polls, this is what we're going to be listening to. Hopefully this isn't too loud, but
That's the sound of the police.
okay. So that you can expect that every time there's an international crackdown on some ransomware group or some Silk Road type operation. So if you're older like me, you know exactly what that is. And if you're younger, then consider this like an inside loop on something cool. Um, from everything's coming back, right? 80s are coming back, 90s are starting to come back. KRS-One is cool. I saw him in concert um, back in '99, going way back. All right, everybody. That's going to for today's episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Briefing. I hope all of you have a wonderful Friday, a wonderful weekend. Um, I did cancel what's on your radar officially, but we actually have. I haven't talked to Eric about this, but we have two more sessions that are already scheduled in the queue. Like they've been like set up as broadcasts. So maybe we'll close out those final two. Stay tuned to Simply Cyber Discord or just hit the bell for notifications and it'll tell you when we go live. But that may be happening later today. Either way, everybody, you did great this week. Finish strong. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you for being here. I appreciate all of you. Hashtag Team Replay. Thank you for catching the stream. Be good, everybody. Take care.